Are you or your loved ones suffering from illnesses such as TDS, also known as Trump derangement syndrome? Do you dismiss or deny the current issues facing our country, such as historic inflation, illegal immigration, corporate corruption, World War III escalations, and the chronic disease epidemic? Are you willing to elect someone who was the least popular vice president in modern history, and who offers no policy or vision for America simply because your brain keeps telling you anyone but Trump? If so, you might be struggling from TDS. Introducing independence. Independence allows you the freedom to finally think independently once again. Instead of believing everything you hear from the mainstream media, independence allows for constructive critical thinking.
I used to hear people on the news say things like,
Donald Trump and the movement he has encouraged are a threat to democracy.
And I instantly believed it. With independence, I now realize the media is run by the Democrat elite, who are a corrupt oligarchy that censors free speech, silences political opponents, supports forever wars, and abandons democracy by anointing its candidates.
Independence may not be for everyone. If you enjoy being lied to about your president's cognitive abilities, support Orwellian totalitarianism, or are excited about communist fiscal policy, independence may not be right for you. Common side effects of independence may include an awakening of rational thought, successfully identifying propaganda, freedom of choice, loss of hatred, anti-narcissistic behavior, and love of democracy.
I used to blindly hate whoever my party was running against. I didn't care about facts or policy because I was hopelessly indoctrinated. With independence, I'm much more interested in policies that uphold democracy, and I truly care about the health of our country and its citizens.
Ask your doctor if independence is right for you, and enjoy your freedoms once again.
Some side effects do include critical thought. Now imagine that. Imagine everyone coming down with a horrible case of critical thought. Drew, how you doing today?
Dude, that commercial really hits home with a lot of people, I think. It's really, people have been kind of whitewashed into just being against their own opposition instead of thinking critically. It is kind of a scary time to be alive. I wear around this shirt. It's the United States of America. Do as you are told. This is our current day and age. You got a little jab on the eagle leg there. You got some surveillance cameras as its head, and then you got the violent enforcement on the other arm there. So it's a situation, man. We're fighting here. You got some good ideas about leaning into Rumble, which I'm all here for. And thank God we have X too. I retweeted on X. Let's get some people in here. Let them hear the sound of freedom.
Yeah, X is crazy. Like, I really feel that Elon Musk has an opportunity here to basically steal everyone's thunder, because I've noticed the engagement on X for the video that goes out simultaneously gets as much as the YouTube, is sometimes more. And I mean, if he really turned up the algo for the bull run, because he's not a dummy, he's a really smart guy. Imagine him going, to the marketing team, it is a bull run. We should probably crank the algo. I think that would be pretty good for the brand.
100%, man. And he's even working on a app for smart TVs, which is going to make it much easier for people to bring the video up on their smart TVs at home. And you're darn right about the viewership. Like, some of our spaces are hitting 15, 20,000 listens. People, are getting the information much easier on Twitter these days. We're not giving up on YouTube, but we are diversifying, just as I do with my portfolio, diversifying into different outlets that I think are more open and helpful to the voices of freedom, and that's being Rumble and Twitter. But there are some locations that don't have access to Rumble, and they don't necessarily keep up with the Twitter infrastructure yet. So we're trying to just make our voices heard every which way we can.
That video kind of came out hard hitting right on a Friday morning at 8 a.m. I understand how polarizing politics can be for someone. And I forget, because I live in a bubble of complete political apathy. They're all psychopaths. Nothing really changes. They're just puppets. But when I get into conversation with certain people, I realize how tribal the general population still is, and how offended they can get on certain things, rather than, if they're being like, I was in a conversation with my dad the other day, and he was out kind of getting huffy and puffy about certain things. I'm like, hey, we're just chatting. I'm just shooting
Yeah.
ideas, like poke them down if you don't like them. But
Well, we've been poked down, I think, for far enough here. We've pulled over. We can't pull over any further. Now we're talking about the idea of putting a monetary backing behind the U.S. dollar that wouldn't put us down a death spiral with Trump and RFK's plans they've talked about. We're also talking about protecting our kids and their health and the future of our nations by taking the toxicity out of the food supply. And that is a hill I will absolutely fight and die on. So, I understand, like, I've been very even keel with the other side for a good 8 years, maybe 10 years now. And I'm to the point where if they don't want to clean the food supply up, they don't want to stop the cataclysm of the US dollar by backing it with something reasonable, go from us in your chains, and I will forget that you were ever my countrymen. That is my point. That's the point that I've reached. So, and there's still some conversation to be had with the other side. A lot of them are waking up because of this uniparty build out that we have. And honestly, it's because Trump wasn't necessarily a hardcore Republican when he came in as the president in 2016. He was even considering coming in as a Democrat at the time. He's not some deep state rhino. And, during his presidency, we did see a lot of attrition against him from those rhinos that were in place that wanted to retain the power structure. He is an uncontrollable that they didn't like. And seeing RFK, Tulsi Gabbard, Trump, and J.D. Vance, it does set up the stage for a very, very powerful third party to rise after this election is concluded. That's what I'm looking at. So,
1 second here. Misco, the Oprah Winfrey of the channel. Membership for you, and you. Gifted
Yeah.
for Friday. Thank you very much, Misco. Thank you very much, Misco. Holy smokes, much appreciated, buddy. Oh, did we lose Druth? Oh, there he is. Continue, Druth.
No, I'm sorry. My wife was calling me. So, yeah, I mean, basically, this does give us a tangible ability to see a powerful third party rise up right around the time frame like we have this election, 2024. But don't be surprised if you see an effective third party situation in the United States arise in 2028 from this, because this has never happened in American history where you have multiple defectors from the Democrats over to the Republicans or even vice versa. It's never happened before. Now you have Bernie Sanders out there on his revenge tour because Hillary kept him out of the running all that time ago. And this really does open up a lot of hope for people that are looking for that third party capability to be effective, because the whole conversation is why vote third party? It's just a wasted vote and all those things. But if you have power players from both sides come together and build the foundation for that movement, I think that you actually have something tangibly powerful that we could be seeing.
Yeah, I sometimes feel in the past little while, maybe since I think Nashville, the Bitcoin conference, little twinges of hope almost. It's like, It's like, golly, are things changing? Are we actually seeing small changes happening? Just the acknowledgement of the food system, for one. I thought that would be the end, because ideally they want people dumb, docile, sick, and compliant. So to fix the food would basically turn the male population into another standing army. I don't think they want strong men, or whoever they are, the hierarchy that's exploiting us.
Yeah, I mean, I think that really, the conversation of food you would have thought was a liberal talking point 10, 20 years ago. But now it's become the Republican talking point. And I don't think that, again, a lot of those entrenched rhinos really like seeing this rise of popularity with, this combination team. But it's what the country needs. They need to find that middle ground that can have an open discussion like Trump is, having open discussions with Elon about the tangibility of electric vehicles, how to apply them, how wide it actually should be, because you have to approach these things with a nuanced mindset. It's not a one size fits all situation that the Dems have been trying to sell everyone, that your gas vehicle is going to be outlawed. That's not okay to do to people that need to travel across the state to get to their job every morning. It's not tangible to do to
outside your
people that
15-minute
aren't
city?
Exactly. And if there is the population that loves, being able to walk to Starbucks and then go back up to the bird cage, fine, have at it. But electric vehicles are not a one size fits all issue, especially for maritime, especially for aerospace. Like, there's a lot of nuance within the conversation that I think is really healthy to have, because my wife runs a sustainable clothing business as well. It's not like I'm against trying to, do better by the planet by any means. We actually put our money where our mouth is. We built a shop to do so. We try all kinds of different ways to reproduce used clothing and to recycle it, reduce, reuse, recycle. We're big about that. But I think that the Democrats kind of lost the plot, and now it's just a us versus them type mentality. And we're seeing a very, very quick rise to Trump actually gathering a lot of votes from people that were on the fences about it. So it's pretty healthy for the country to see, I think.
But you want to make sure that people can discern the truth from the misinformation. And we want to make sure that everyone understands that no one's safe till everyone's safe.
No one is 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 safe.
Nobody's safe.
No one is safe.
Nobody is safe.
The post 9/11 axiom: safer but not yet safe.
No one is safe. No one is safe. No one is safe. No one is safe from COVID-19 until everyone is safe.
If the whole world isn't safe, none of us are safe.
No one is safe.
No one is safe. Nobody is safe.
Jeez.
I'm going to say right now, I felt very safe, and I'm still safe. I am, still unjabbed. And honestly, I think I've had it a few times, but it was like, it's gotten
You
less
had the
and less
cold?
bothersome.
You had a cold?
Yeah, I mean, I had and honestly, like, it's incredible now that you can't even get a regular flu shot, right? That's what's been rolled out, these combo flu shots that they're trying to make everyone. And before it was cool, I also didn't take those either, because it's a mutating, virus that, it's a moving target. So I think natural immunity, natural medicine, good food, I think that treating our body as a temple has actually been more effective for me personally in keeping my health at a high level. I'm nearly 40 years old, and I am actually improving. I feel like I'm in the best shape of my life. And it has nothing to do with relying on doctor opinions on how to improve it. It's all based on food, exercise, meditation, good vibes from music, friends, finding hope, finding good projects, finding upside, and providing value, having a reason, waking up with a reason every morning, I think is something that keeps me healthy too. But yeah, every customer cured is a customer lost for the
That's right.
industrial complex right there. So it's just sad that they sell people on that.
I find Bitcoin itself has driven my health higher. I can't help but attribute it to it. Just when you start tearing back all the lies about everything, you start tearing back the lies of the food system, and then you can't help but, the way you changed your economic beliefs once you took the orange pill. It's the same when it comes to health. And I feel like anyone who's, not in good health right now in the community, I think it's a matter of time before they just, they solve the problem yourself. You're here because you solved your economic problem. You will also solve your health problems just through Bitcoin. I know it sounds weird, but
I think there's a lot to that, man. I mean, and just by aggregate, a good example is like Bitcoin Nashville. A lot of people that are, a lot of them would call them nerds, right? Because we sit and we look at computers and all this data all day, but they're in great shape. And I think what you just mentioned, it gives you that degree of overscope hope that there is a fix to this system. We see it. And we see it actually taking hold in a bunch of different avenues, be it ETFs or finding ways to capture methane gas flares or all of those different avenues. But I think that having that hope and that drive really is it's kind of supercharged my life. On top of when I had kids and found my wife, you know what I mean? It's
Right.
it's a very similar feeling. Combine those two things, man. It's better not stand in my way these days. You know?
Yeah, in the sense that the farther you go down the orange highway, you realize that no one's here to save you, right? And then that
Mhm.
when you fully understand that, that actually empowers you to take care of yourself a little more. Well, if no one's come to save me, well, I better get strong and healthy because I'm the
Yes.
only one that's going to save
Yes.
me is me.
Absolutely,
Man,
man.
this is all just one big yank. It seems like more and more people are getting hip to that it's not two parties and it's not of, by, and for the people in any way. It's just corporate self-interest, and everything they do is to protect themselves from any sort of judgment or any kind of responsibility or accountability.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that. I think I'm not as optimistic about how many Americans recognize it. I think the mainstream media.
Oh, please fake it with me, because I get so depressed that nobody gets it.
Oh man, I mean, RFK is no stranger to trying to wake people up, right? I mean, the magic bullet theory, the idea, the literal term conspiracy theorist, stemming from a family related incident for RFK. And I'm sure he's quite jaded and aggravated by the situation, but he's still here fighting. That's got to say a lot. Really, when we talk about people waking up and the what will wake them up, it wasn't necessarily just the tax that the British were giving on the tea. This is something that I want to make very clear. It's not the tax on the tea being 3% from the British that pushed America into a full revolution. It was being taxed without representation. Not having a voice in the halls that were making those choices was what really pushed that over the edge. And where we're at right now is tenfold the tax levels that we have from our own internal government. And at a point, we had a feeling of connection. The Reagan era, we felt like, I felt like the Reagan era was kind of once we saw 2001 happen and the NSA Patriot Act come, I knew that we were just pitted against our enemies. And they're not here to represent us. They haven't been here to represent us for 20, 30 years. So that is the real thing that I think people should take into strong account right now. It's not just the tax and all these crazy things that the hyena is proposing about unrealized gains and everything else within that, but it's actually the lack of representation, the inability to change or stop those tyrannical moves from happening because we're not being represented. And that we're far beyond that point. We need to wake people up before we are fully underground.
Yeah, I think one of the scariest points is how they can have a borderline dead body there for 4 years, and then the replacement is basically has zero appeal to almost everyone that I've ever talked to, in Canada. But the real problem is that they don't care what you think. They don't care if you like or dislike, because they just install it anyway. The process of democracy, I think, has kind of been corrupted and captured. And now that just might be my conspiracy theorist here, but it feels like this.
No, I mean, there's a lot of data that shows that you're right, Maddie. There's a lot of data. And, you have this cognitive dissonance within the right and the left. It's not just the left that's trying to ignore this hyena that's going to try and represent them for the next few years. Because the right, a lot of them won't acknowledge what Bush did, how many rights Bush took away from the American people, the war hawking that Dick Cheney did. And all of those things, we are and that's why I kind of started by talking about this uni-party potential, because we need that more than ever in this country. And honestly, things haven't been not only so fiscally strained, but politically strained as they are currently in this country since 1861. So, we have to take that into account and really kind of open our arms to the people on the other side, but also don't back down. Be strong. I know a lot of people are tired already from just a few months of political headlines. This is not just political headlines. This is a lifestyle change that we're trying to implement, get better food, get some money that actually is sound, have something behind our monetary system so that we don't cascade into hyperinflation 10, 20 years from now, and my children will not be able to afford food. That is the literal fight that I'm looking at right now. And people that aren't acknowledging that are kind of kidding themselves.
She and my father didn't aspire to be wealthy. In fact, they were suspicious of folks who took more than they needed.
Isn't that grotesque? God. Like the thing that fascinates me more is the people watching that and it's talking about cognitive dissonance. Like they have this billionaire saying how, how poor she was and how you can't take more than you need. Meanwhile, she has 4 mansions. That's just what they showed. 4 mansions. How about, I wonder what they got in Washington, D.C., obviously, probably, another 4 or 5, because they have to have cottage country. They got to have close to the hill, et cetera, et cetera. It's gross.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not particularly fond of people who fly in private jets to a meeting where they're talking about how to take away my vehicle and to make me eat bugs. That's just me, but I'm not particularly fond of that type of person, and it's so crazy to think that they are trying to lump us in crypto into this criminal basket of greedy hackers that are just sleuthing the internet, trying to take money from people. When there is such a foundational freedom fight happening within our, this is a battle against instituted banking systems. And the banking systems are the whole reason why governments exist. They exist with an iron sword to control and institute that banking system. Okay, so we are up against the most powerful system on the planet right now. And that's why you see Operation Choke Point 2.0. That's why you see all these smear campaigns against it, is because it is a literal threat to those institutions. So, oh my gosh, TJ just busted over a breakfast sandwich for me here. My God, what a guy. Holy
nice. As the summer bummer comes to an end shortly, do you think there's a one more leg down in the summer bummer before we head back up for this epic bull run?
Man, I mean, I'm not going to be surprised if so. Right now we are under, in my mind, $60,000 is one heck of a resistance zone. Maybe you can go all the way up to 62, like on the technical analysis side, but breaking over this 60K realm, I really am expecting to happen tangibly and in a strong way after that Fed meeting. I feel like after that Fed meeting, the markets are going to realize risk is back on, and you will have that volatility. But I mean, we're trying to fight above those. Are those moving averages right there?
Yeah,
I mean, I feel emotionally like I'm a very I got a good heartbeat feel of the chart, and every time we get up there, the price action gets very emotional, and it fought very hard to hold it. But that Japanese yen carry trade scare deal just boom all the way down to $49,000, and that situation's not necessarily fixed. Nope. Now, I'm that's kind of one of the scary elephants in the room. Nvidia, I'm not worried about till about mid 2025. But I mean, what's your thoughts? Have you've been talking about that resistance, Mr. Clean, his head and shoulders? Are we still looking like that's a strong potential right now?
Yeah, well, this is the Mr. Clean right here. This is the left shoulder, the head, and the right shoulder. We almost busted out of it over the 200 moving average, which was exciting. But I mean, we closed three candles and then immediately got sucked right back. So I'm looking at this. Where is it? I would say right around here, just under the 61.8% fib, 57.3ish. If we can't hold that, I don't. She might come to fruition. Way down at 43K, which would be it would be the final boss of washouts. Can you imagine? Because I feel like, dude, my title was retail flushed out. I believe there's 2 or 3% of actual optimistic retail traders in the market, and that's it. So
I know, and really, like, you have people that are speculators that are not in it for the freedom aspect. They are holding on by their fingertips right now. A lot of them kind of chose altcoins, and even if they were into them in, say, January 2024, they didn't take profits in March. And so a lot of them are down pretty bad. And that washout, man, that would be an absolute bloodbath. There's Mr. Clean, his
there he
scary
is.
self, man.
There you go.
Oh,
The
my God.
dead-eyed smile of old Mr. Clean. He's just saying in his mind, 43K, 43K.
Oh, no.
Well, you know what my big fear is that because I'm a contrarian when it comes to announcements. And so when everyone's piling in on when they lower the rates, we're going to see a pump. I immediately go, Jesus, that's the perfect time to see a massive dump and just completely liquidate all the bullish longs for maybe the last time. Hopefully it doesn't, but there is, if you go back in history, there's the pause pivot recession, right? So that usually happens. And so I'm not too optimistic on the announcement. I think we may get a knee jerk up, like the quant bots will just do the buy algos, boom, 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 boom. We'll get to like some moving average, and then, whatever wall we keep on hitting, because we keep on hitting this wall, and not only do we, hit resistance, and we're not sitting there and battling resistance. We hit resistance, and then we just get shoved right back down to this 60K-ish level. Which, if you zoom out, look at this. This is a 6-month channel right here.
Yeah. And this is with the conversations of a Bitcoin-backed US dollar. This is with the conversations of Marathon Digital starting to mine Caspa even. I mean, this is a situation where in like the past bull market, these pieces of news would have just absolutely skyrocketed us. So there is that to keep in mind. And we didn't even get much love at all on those positive NVIDIA earnings. Like, market just jackknifed real quick, started going down slightly again. It just, so yeah, I mean, and at large, like, listening to your warnings about that, I did take them seriously. I got some buy orders in at around like 44K, just in case I get that opportunity, because that would be pretty awesome, honestly. Like, I know it's scary, like from a chart perspective or price perspective, but to be able to have it pull back like that before November would feel really, really good to me, because
what a gift.
that would be a huge uplift in part of a portfolio, and that's why I use those buy orders to that regard, just in case. And I am sitting here trading day to day, and I don't like this. I'm not going to be leaving trades in for a longer period of time or leaving them more wide open until November, because then I'll feel like we're historically and statistically in a more kind of upside, up and to the right type situation.
Yeah, the interesting thing you said a second ago was about all the bullish factors. We've never been drowning in such bullish factors. I've never seen so many things line up at the same time with price not moving. So in essence, my delusionally bullish, optimistic outlook is that we have some real divergence with bullish factors and price action that can only be held down for so long. Because I mean, man, once all these bullish factors meet the reality of supply shock, like, think about how many Bitcoins are being taken off the market every day that are being bought up. It's really scary. And everyone like you and myself, everyone that I watch are kind of warning everyone. It's like, listen, they're hoovering these things up, like mass scale, like we've never seen before in Bitcoin's history. Something's happening here, and if you're sleeping on it, geez, I don't know.
Yeah, and that Bitcoin on exchange graph is very scary. Like, and you do have to wonder. I mean, you've seen the velocity of how fast BlackRock has bought it off of the market. If they keep the pressure on, I mean, they've continued to stack Bitcoin all the way through this chop and that downward channel that you just showed on the backed up time frame. So I know that the future is very, very bright for it in 2025. And, that warning that you give and that you have a lot of reasons for giving, I take as a potential gift. If we do get down to that level,
for sure.
that would be a gift for me to get some Bitcoin. Because at large, I've made really good money in altcoins this year, but I would like to increase my Bitcoin holdings because I use the Bitcoin holdings to go get those gains in alts. And now I'm sitting here watching the market completely reset. And man, if I get that chance, I'm backing the truck up once again. Those are the moments I love.
Some bullish outlooks for this weekend. I'm kind of keeping my eye on. Look at how these lines line up. It's just you can't write it. The 38.2% fib is where we break out of this channel of descension. 61.7. That's on the weekly. I'd be happy with that. I'm not looking for a green candle close. However, that would be nice. But in order to close green, we need 64.1. It seems like a lifetime away, but we know how fast things move here. So on the weekly, get up to the 38.2% fib. That would be bullish, and we'd still close red, but big deal. But the big one is this monthly chart. Now we put this triangle of this symmetrical triangle a long time ago. Now to close there is only within tuck ourselves in this candle, leaving the mother of all hammer candles. Like imagine this wick. If we can close at 63-ish. Look at this wick. That's in the most insane hammer candle. Now, you want to talk about technical analysis. If we were to have this hammer candle and then the bull run takes off, September's a little whatever, we kind of ho-hum, but then boom, that will go down as the most legendary hammer candle probably we've ever seen, for sure.
Well,
and hammer candles are bullish.
There's good reason. That's a great thing to highlight, man. And there's very strong reasons for that hammer candle. I mean, the market's terrified of that yen trade unwinding and watching the yen fall off a cliff. I mean, the yen is a big part of world monetary movement. So, it's understandable if we get to, I do hope we get to that 73 spot in short order. But yeah, I mean, that would be, we're in kind of crazy times. But these are the crazy times that really made me a lot of money. Like COVID, I was able to get a Bitcoin for $4,000 and Ethereum was like $180 that day of, and that changed my life forever. So I got to just bring that up with all this fear and stuff like that. You just got to keep moving forward. And when things get real hairy, don't go looking down in the top 200 or, you can make some insane life-changing moves with the mainstays, Bitcoin and Ethereum, if you're patient enough and crazy enough to buy even your own blood. And so, just take that with a grain of salt.
Tell us about the blockchain basement.
Yeah, Blockchain Basement. We're live every day at 2 p.m. We have spaces Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. We have a Blockchain Black site where basically we are talking about the exact things that people need to do to become self-sovereign, not only with taking control of your finance and getting your crypto off exchanges, but much deeper. Hold on, buddy. But everything else. I got my boy here. He's kind of excited. He's hanging out and checking out some Minecraft. Yeah, Bronson. He's a good boy. But we're into building out homesteads. We're building out gardens. We are training tactically, and we are making sure our sword is nice and sharp in case we lose this on the conversational side within not only the halls of Congress and the Senate. If the conversation stops, that's when chaos begins. And we are preparing the population to handle themselves and provide that security for their family should that situation happen as well. So
make sure you like and subscribe and share this